Coach Graves, who we both know, he's the new coach at Indiana State. And I know, Ryan, you think very highly of him. He's a great guy. Coach Graves actually coached here at Xavier for a period of time as well. And I've known him forever, but I would say that Ryan, when I talk to, the people at Indiana State, especially Coach Graves, who I know really well, it's amazing how they spoke about him, in terms of his work ethic and just what a great teammate he is. And, those are the things that, like, when you can get that part right, that's when you really have great peace of mind. But I have to tell this story about Coach Graves because I think this is a legendary story in its own right. So I was the head coach at Xavier, and we had just taken a couple guards, 2 Holloway and Mark Lyons. So all you need to know is we were out of room for guards. Yet we were recruiting a guy from Kentucky, state of Kentucky, really hard. And, basically those guys beat him to the punch. And as we're now out on the circuit, a high school circuit, watching these guys play in the Milk House in Orlando, this guy is basically the talk of the tournament for a period of time. He's playing great. Made me sick because, like, I wanted my cake and could eat it too. But, I want him too. But we just were out of room. We didn't have scholarships, and we had promised the 2 guys that were already coming here that this is it. We're done. So it's like, oh, my God. So I would ask the question, who's recruiting him? And inevitably, he was like, the team he really likes is Dayton. Well, back then, Ryan, you would know this, but Dayton Xavier, like, big rivals. Mm-hmm. We haven't played in a long time, but we used to share the same conference. And I'm telling you, if you play at Dayton, it's a hard atmosphere. They came here equally difficult. So they're our rival. So I'm like, man, this isn't going to be good. This guy from Kentucky, I think he's really good. I'd love to have him. We have no room. Don't want him to go to Dayton. So who can I help maybe start to recruit him? So I see Brad Stevens. Brad was the head coach at Butler. I said, Brad, have you seen this guy, Shelvin Mack, from Kentucky? He's really good. He's like, no. What teams he play on? Plays on this team. So let me give you a quick story. We've recruited him for a year. We got 2 commitments, as you know. We can't take him. I'm telling you, he's really good. Makes me sick. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is, you're not in our conference. You're a great guy, good coach, really like you. Start to recruit him so he doesn't go to Dayton. And by the way, just so you know, Ryan, that never works. Inevitably, when you do that, the kid still ends up going to player to Dayton, right? So Brad follows up. And I said, hey, next day, we're down there for 5 days in a row. Did you see Shelvin Mack play? He said, I did. I love him. He's really good. I'm sending Matt Graves to see him tonight. I said, awesome. I said, stay on him, man. We don't want to play against that guy. He said, okay, by the way, thanks, Sean. I appreciate you looking out for us. Great. Day goes by. I happen to see both of them walking in about a day and a half later. Matt Graves, Brad Stevens. I said, fellas, how you guys doing? How's my guy, Shelvin Mack, doing? True story. Brad looks and says, Graves doesn't like him. And I'm like, you don't like him? And Matt Graves, deadpan, and I hope Shelvin Mack listens to this. He says, I think he would be a great power forward at Butler. And I looked at Brad Stevens and said, he's kidding, right? And he said, he's not. He doesn't think he's quick enough, and he thinks he's a power forward. I said, Brad, you don't ever have to listen to a word that I say. Forget Graves. You got to go back and watch him again, because I am telling you the guy is really good, and I don't want to play against him. Long story short, he went to Butler. The story's not over. So I'm now in a situation where, hey, Brad, and Brad might have even called me. Hey, thanks for looking out for us on Shelvin Mack. We never would have even begun to recruit him if it wasn't for you. We got him. I think he's going to be a really good player. Nobody knew he would become who he became, right? So I go, Graves, what about Shelvin Mack? You got him. He said, yeah. He said, I still think he's going to play power forward for us. So now you know what's coming. This guy goes to back-to-back national championship games.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an NBA player for, I don't know how long Shelvin had played in the NBA, 7 years, 10 years, whatever. I mean, a lot longer than you even realize. But again, he's at Butler. He goes from freshman, he plays a lot. I mean, he leads them to this level that no one will ever get to again. Back-to-back national championship game appearances. And he's their second best player and an NBA player. Well, you can imagine as they're going to the national championship, I'm not letting them off the hook, Graves. So I would hit him with the text, hey, just want to double back. I've been watching you play. It seems like his game, Shelvin's game, has expanded a little bit. Like, you still sticking on that power forward thing? He said, nope, I'm off it. So to this day, as time moves on and I'm at Arizona and we all move from Brad's obviously the Boston Celtics, I always bring this up to Brad Stevens because he knows more than anybody about this story. So we come to Ryan and we're starting to recruit Ryan. I said, Graves, look, I don't know how to say this any other way, but it's time for the deposit. You know, let's go way back. Some good stuff happened. I mean, any push, if you could push him an inch, man, I would really appreciate it. But at least you need to say some kind words about Sean Miller and Xavier because, come on, let's go back to the Shelvin Mack. He goes, no. He goes, I understand. He goes, but Sean, I love Xavier and Ryan's a great kid, whatever. But that happened. That's a fact. There's no denying it. Matt Graves and Brad Stevens, they would both put that check in the box. I don't know if Shelvin Mack understands that, but hopefully he'll listen to this podcast and respond.
He does now.
Yeah.